All right, say bye-bye to the kitties. So you're new to Genshin, you've been doing some 10 pull on the current weapon banner, which I don't think that you should be doing unless you have the characters, you're further along, a lot of different things that I say in these intros, and you get Fischl's weapon. I'm not even going to try and say the name. Sorry, Akio. So we have this bow by Fischl. Definitely designed by Fischl and Oz, because only she could achieve something so Fischl-y. So in this video, we're going to look at the main stats, the passives, what it does, who it can be good for, and the bigger section, who it can't be good for. So this weapon does get up physical damage bonus, and its passive, Evernight Duet, normal attack hits on opponents increase elemental skill damage by 20% for 5 seconds. Elemental skill hits on opponents increase normal attack damage by 20% for 5 seconds. So this is a bow that allows you to do more normal attack damage the more your skill damages. So this means it's really good for a niche build official. Because it gives physical damage bonus. This is going to be an on-field physical damage official where you're not doing charge attacks, you are doing normal attacks. So first, let's show how this weapon works. So we are going to go into this domain with Fischl. We are going to be doing some normal attacks, and as you can see, she is going to be hitting 388 to 500, low 500s with her normal attacks on the non-crits, right around 1,000 for her crit on the shot. Now this, if we had Oz on the field, would make Oz do more damage. However, we are not. We are first just going to show the difference in the normal attacks. So once we summon Oz and we get him to start doing some of that elemental skill damage, then we're going to see the normal attacks going up. So now we are doing a little over 500 on the first hit, which before it was 388 on the non-crit. Our crits are now going up into the 1200s, getting very, very close to 1200, sometimes exceeding into the 1200s. So as you can see, we are doing more damage when Oz is on the field doing damage as well. Oz normally is doing 938 with the non-crit, 220 with the crit. As soon as we do a normal attack, that crit jumps up to 2,271, with his non-crit doing 1,054. So you can see that Oz is doing more damage when we do normal attacks, and our normal attacks are doing more damage when Oz does damage. That is the normal attacks increasing the elemental skill increasing normal attacks, both by 20%. And it's for a short time, which means that you have to constantly be doing the normal attacks and having elemental skill damage. Now, one of the reasons that this works so well with Fischl, especially at C6, is because Oz does a lot of damage, or a lot more instances of damage, with constellations on Fischl. Even if Fischl's not on the field, he is still going to be doing some damage with your character on the field. So having constellations on Fischl does make this more usable. Now, because this weapon's stat is physical damage bonus, it means that you're not going to be doing charged attacks, you're only going to be doing normal attacks. So who else can this weapon be good for? Instead of doing it that way, we're going to look at different characters and explain why it is not good for them. So first, for that, we're going to look at Yelan. Now, Yelan, her skill does a single instance of hydro damage. Whenever she does normal attacks, her skill does not continue to damage. Her burst will, but her skill won't. If this worked with her burst, then this could be a good weapon for on-field physical Yelan. That on-field physical is a very niche thing, which is why one of the reasons why a lot of characters cannot use this. It is a very niche weapon. But because Yelan's burst is the one that does the coordinated attack and not her skill, she won't be able to trigger this passive except for when she uses the single instance of hydro damage with her skill. So she will not be able to keep up the passive whatsoever. Next is going to be Kale. And Kale could actually use this weapon. She might be the only other character besides Fischl that could make a fairly good use of this weapon, especially with C6 Kale. Now, Kale's boomerang, whenever you throw it, if it causes an elemental reaction before it returns to Kale, it will spin around your on-field character. So if you had Kale doing physical damage, her boomerang would sit there and spin around her, meaning that you could re-trigger the passive if you're close enough to enemies. So running on-field physical Kale is doable, and it actually makes me wonder how it would work with like Beto, right? Having her normal attacks trigger Beto's burst to do aggravate and spread reactions with the skill. I actually kind of wonder how that would work, and it actually kind of makes me want to try it if I can get this weapon on my account. Thanks, Doggy, for letting me use yours. But this is really the only other character that I found that could make decent use of this weapon. Then we have Diona. If Diona's skill kind of worked like Layla's skill, then it would be possible to use it and trigger the passive, but because it doesn't, it does not work at all with Diona. Now, why is Dia on the screen? Because I had to screenshot this and send it to Doggy and ask him why in the world somebody associated with me had a level 40 Dia. I'm calling you out, Doggy. Now we're going to look at two characters that you might think it could work on, but it doesn't. First off is going to be Yoimiya. Yoimiya's skill turns her normal attacks into pyro, meaning that she will not get the physical damage bonus. But you might think, okay, that's fine. Her normal attacks get a buff, and because her skill turns the normal attacks into pyro, then that'll still count as skill damage. So maybe it will work and activate them both at the same time. So because of her skill and how it works, you'll never actually be able to trigger both passives to get up the normal attack damage and the skill damage, because the skill doesn't actually damage any enemy. So another character that you might think it might work on is going to be Tartaglia, Child, the one that never crits. Now, when he uses his skill, it turns his normal attacks into hydro damage. So again, he would not be able to use the physical damage bonus, but you might think, okay, well, his skill turns his normal attack damage into skill damage. So maybe this one can proc both. It cannot, because now you're not doing normal attacks, you're only doing skill damage. So the only time that you'd be able to use that passive is either going into the skill for 5 seconds or coming out of the skill for 5 seconds. You would not be able to use it for the whole duration. You would not be able to get it would not be worth it, because you would also be losing a lot because you'd be giving up your main stat. You wouldn't really be doing physical damage with the thing that he's supposed to be doing the best, which is how much hydro he applies. So in the end, I could really only find Fischl and Kale that could use this weapon in a very specific niche circumstance. If there's any other characters that you think can use this weapon and join Fischl and Kale in this insanely niche bracket of being able to use Fischl's weapon, then do leave it down in the comments. If you have any questions other than what character can this be good on, leave it down below. Myself or somebody else will be sure to answer it, and I'll see you in the next one.